Yeah. All right. We're back.
We are
A
back.
different setup, new lighting, slowly chipping away at the room here, and gonna one day, maybe a year from now or something, it'll be like extra like fancy lights and like sign on the wall and stuff like that.
Be all done up.
Yeah, maybe have like a mock squat rack right in the middle, or just have some fun toys for the pod. But yeah, we're back. Kevin's back. I'm back. And we want to talk about, well, a lot of different things today, but the big topic that you were saying was,
just how to make gains, basically, really. And how there's so much noise around fitness and health, and everyone's always looking for like, oh, what's the best bang for my buck and what's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
And you get all these very, very specific things, and people market the crap out of them and try to sell you on everything, and it can get really confusing. But the biggest thing is just really being consistent, working kind of hard for a long period of time. Yeah, at least kind of hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't even need to be all out.
Yeah.
In fact, it shouldn't be all out all the time.
Yeah, and that was actually something, before you even said that you wanted to talk about this, I was actually thinking about making a post on it myself. Just
Perfect.
like how much people are so like invested in these tiny little details that probably don't even matter. And like there's like that can lead you down a whole other rabbit hole of potential failures or just not making the progress that you thought. And then just it's the slippery slope of, well, I'm trying all these things that I'm supposed to do that are supposed to help me, but then like I'm not seeing anything. So then inevitably sometimes people give up, and you're probably focusing on the wrong things.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the right things to focus on are the probably, I don't want to say hardest things to do, but things that are maybe the most uncomfortable for people to do consistently.
Yeah.
Because it's not hard to just move a little bit more and do stuff like that, but like that's a big commitment for some people, and lots of different reasons why they wouldn't want to or couldn't do that.
Yeah, so. And that's the time thing, and that's kind of related to how it's like all these small things that people can get really stuck up on, where it's like, okay, I'm really trying to optimize for this or optimize for that, and it's like now you're doing this laundry list of exercises a lot of the time, and you're hyper focusing on certain muscles and certain movements, and you're not really getting anywhere. You're feeling like you're rushed in the gym, or like you have to go to the gym 6 days a week.
Yeah,
it's like, you know what, 3 days of the week, like 30 to 45 minutes, like for 99% of the population, that's going to make changes if you're just consistent with that and just move the big rocks, right? Like,
especially if you weren't hitting that to begin with in the first place.
Yeah.
Like if you're going from nothing to something, the improvements are like so much bigger from that point. But yeah, like we'll definitely talk about like more the exercise side of things, but like I think it's like, man, sleep, nutrition, exercise, whatever else health metrics people want to look at. It's like the things that people are willing to spend a bunch of time and money on are just like, so, I don't know, not
all the recovery methods and everything.
Red light therapy, cold baths, all of this stuff, you know. So,
just take a nap. There you go. Now you're recovering way better.
Take a nap, have a protein shake, good.
Yeah.
But like, from the exercise perspective, what do you think? Like, in my opinion, I think one of the biggest reasons why people are so like they get lost in this is because there's like this almost social expectation or just this belief that there has to be the right exercise, there has to be the right way to do it. I'm all for science, but sometimes I think the whole like biomechanics of lifting is sometimes a little bit overrated.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
there's so many variables that go into it.
Yeah.
Like, how do your exact joints move? Where are you strong? Like,
yeah. But like, say for example, someone is like, okay, well, if I don't do a bicep curl at a specific tempo or get the exact amount of elbow extension and shoulder extension or flexion or whatever we're talking about here, then like it's completely wrong, and I guess I'm just not going to do that. Or, you know, like just grab a bicep and curl it.
Yeah.
And you're going to see some results, like even if it doesn't look the prettiest, right?
Yeah. If you move weight, you get stronger.
Yeah.
It's really that simple.
It's
and
stress.
Bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a good kind of stress on your body. Like, because we've already had this discussion of like when we were talking about back pain and some of that stuff, of is technique really all that important most of the time? Like it can matter for like efficiency maybe, or just to kind of find like a more comfortable way for somebody to do it, but like it's not all that important in terms of injury risk and stuff like that. So like literally just grab a dumbbell and curl it, even if it doesn't look like the prettiest, and you're probably going to be just completely fine. Biceps grow a little bit, gains, great, right?
Perfect.
Yeah. And I mean, some of the other exercises that are a little bit more daunting and complicated, like we spent a lot of time talking about deadlifts and things like that. I understand how there's maybe some fear around that for some people, but again, like just pick something up off the ground that isn't too heavy for you, and you're going to be okay regardless of how you do it. So,
Yeah. If you can comfortably move it, you're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then just make it slightly less comfortable
Yeah.
by increasing the weight over time.
Yeah.
And there you go. That's how you get stronger. Really simplified.
Yeah. So like outside of just trying to overcomplicate movements, what do you think from a perspective of like programming in a gym are the things that people are spending too much time looking at and focusing on that could be better spent just getting in and moving?
Feeling really good before you lift with a very extensive warm-up.
Yeah.
People take really long with that a lot of the time, and you can just get in. Do the exercise you're about to do and just do it lighter. And then gradually work your way up, and you'll be prepared by the time you get to your working weight, instead of going, okay, I need, to turn my glutes on and everything before I squat. Well, guess what? Your glutes are already on. They're not off. If they were off, you would be having trouble walking and going upstairs.
Yeah.
So all you need to do is just do a couple lighter sets and you'll be good.
Yeah.
That's one thing. And then also just like having this idea of a perfect movement, kind of what you said earlier, and what we were talking about with the back pain episode, is that you need this perfect technique, but not everyone moves the same. Not everyone's proportions are the same. Not everyone's strong in the same way. So your technique and what's comfortable for you is going to look different than even someone who looks really similar to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're probably not going to have the same technique. So not getting caught up in how something looks and feels, and just kind of, moving the weights is going to help you so much.
Yeah.
And I think people just spend way too long on getting something perfect before they move it up.
Yes. Yeah. But like on the topic of like the long warm-ups and stuff, like no wonder you might not stick with it if you're spending half an hour doing all of this stuff. Like, yeah, it's going to take a big chunk out of your day if you're going to be spending half an hour on that. And option A, you have another, like your full length workout, so now you're spending extra time away from the other stuff that you need to do, so it's less appealing to go as often as you should and keep up with it. Or option B, you spend half an hour warming up doing all of these little things and only like 20 to 30 minutes doing the really important stuff, so now you're not going to see like
now you're not getting those gains, right?
Yeah, you're not getting the progress like you would, right? So I don't think that there's a lack of value in warming up, especially from an athletic perspective, but like we said, we're talking about like hyper fixating on a lot of things that are maybe not time well spent, or at the very least, you're just probably not at a level where it's important, right?
Yeah.
Like if I've got Jim Bob who's coming in to work out for the first time versus, I don't know, Usain Bolt before a race, he's got a pretty extensive warm up and like process that he has to do for like psychologically and even just kind of getting things going to sprint, right? But Jim Bob, who's going to come in and do some squats and stuff like that, he doesn't need to do his A skips and his B skips and his high jumps and stuff, right?
He doesn't need to be psychologically super tuned in to perform at his absolute peak.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where the difference is, maybe you see these athletes doing some kind of warm up, and a lot of that isn't necessarily giving them much physical benefits. It's giving some, but not really much more than if they were just to like, do some lighter sprints and then gradually build up.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is probably that psychological readiness. It's getting them into the mindset of, I'm going to perform and I'm ready to race now.
Yes. Yeah.
Whereas, going in to do your set of squats, you just need to move some weight.
Yeah, exactly. So I would agree with both of those things. Like the whole like warm up and spending a lot of time on things that are maybe not all that are probably not going to give you as much value for the session as you would think. We talked about the complicatedness of like hyper fixating on form, because I do think that that's a huge limitation for people, where they'll just say, I'm not even going to touch that exercise because I'm scared I'm not going to do it right. So you're already missing out on some good stuff from that aspect. The other thing that I think of is just like specific programming, or like looking at like sets and reps in terms of parameters, or tempo techniques like to maximize time under tension and things like that. Like, to be honest, I don't even really know how important that stuff is for like the most elite of like bodybuilders in terms of like muscle hypertrophy, but like it's definitely not all that important for, again, just someone who's just trying to move. It doesn't matter how fast or slow you go. It probably doesn't matter am I hitting this perfect rep range, or how many sets am I doing, and what's the exact rest that I need to take in between, right? Like, again, there could be a time where focusing on that maybe a little bit more can help, but like for most of us, I don't see it.
Yeah, and it can take a lot from just your mental capacity and energy, where you could just get in and move, not worry about that too much. Be like, okay, this is my program, I'm hitting that. I don't care if it's perfect or not.
Yeah.
If I'm hitting that hard and being consistent with it over 3 to 4 months, I'm going to make the exact same gains as if I was on something extremely perfect and I took 2 to 3 months just to figure that out. Then you look down the road in a year and it's probably still the exact same too.
It's negligible if there was any difference whatsoever.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't be. Yeah.
And life probably got in the way multiple times where it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest things, is that, the gym is such a small, or exercise is also just like such a small part of your day, time-wise, where, life's going to get in the way. Sometimes you're going to miss workouts. Sometimes you have to do things a little bit rushed. So not having that mental stress of I'm going to make this absolutely perfect every single time I go in, and just being like, yeah, I'm doing something, I'm working hard, makes it a lot easier to be consistent. And when those days are tough and it's like, hey, I'm just going to go in, all I have time for is 5 sets of hard squats, I'm just going to do that instead of this whole fully optimized leg routine where I'm getting the most stretch on my quads and working everything in isolation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like even the other thing that's probably holding people back is just trying to overanalyze what their body is feeling, right? So I get it. There's going to be certain days. We talked about this. Sometimes, like, if you're overstimulated, overstressed, sometimes, like, a good response to that is, like, take a day off and, like, do something a little bit less tough on your body. But for the most part, when you're not feeling super great, it is awesome to come into the gym. You're going to get a lot of benefit. You're going to feel better, both physically and mentally, right? And I think sometimes people are like, well, I'm looking at my watch here and I got like a certain percentage level grade of sleep, so I don't think I should be going in to work out. And I don't think that that's a great approach, because going in and giving 50% effort is better than not going in at all.
Yeah, way better.
Yeah. Like, so just like, not to sound like rude or harsh or anything, but just like, even when you're not feeling good, just show up and do what you can. And honestly, like, if you just showed up and did what you could at 50% for 3 months, every day that you were supposed to go in, versus the person that missed 60% of their workouts because they weren't at 100%, optimization, you're gonna be better off than the person that was, picking and choosing when they should be going in. So I feel like that's kind of
and just from a non, gains standpoint. It also helps with the habit. You're going in, and even when things are tough, you're still going in and making time for it and prioritizing it. And you're telling yourself and you're showing yourself, hey, this is something that is good for my health and that I need to do and that I'm going to stick with even when it's tough. So you'll be more likely to stick with it longer.
Yeah. And I think that can be that's usually the toughest part for a lot of people, is like, how do I consistently keep doing this for a long period of time? Because it truly is, like, when you're trying to just get stronger and improve your health, that's a full-blown lifestyle change, where going to the gym and exercising is a big component of that ideally for almost everybody, that's the rest of your life until you physically can't move anymore. If you're way to 150 years old or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But that's kind of like, I feel like I saw this post and it was talking about the difference between like motivation and discipline, where like take advantage of the days where you feel motivated. Like if I'm like, yes, like I'm going to go in, I really want to squat today and I'm going to go in and I'm going to crush this day. Like take advantage of those days. But because a lot of people are like, well, you're a really motivated individual and I'm not a motivated individual. But don't just rely on motivation, because discipline is just the fact that whether I want to or not, or whether I feel like it or not, I'm still going to show up and do it.
Mm-hmm. I just came up with this right this second.
Okay.
Motivation amplifies discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mad.
Yeah, mad. That's good.
Yeah.
But I mean the way I'm thinking of it is like, if you are disciplined and you can get yourself to do something, then those days where you are motivated, you're actually going to perform better and you're going to get more motivation out of that, because you're going to see all that time and effort and work that you've put in pay off.
Yeah.
And you get more of those days where you do get motivated because you're just giving yourself more opportunities to get that.
Yeah, for sure. Like if you're actually staying consistent with something for a really long time, and I'm not talking about like 2 weeks, because like you could do something, go hard for 2 weeks, take a week off, and you're not going to have the discipline to go back to it, right? But you'll sometimes see where somebody's been working out for 5 years, and then they're forced off for like a week. Maybe they go on vacation or something and they have to take some time off, and they're usually like, I really want to get back to the gym, I miss it. Like
Yeah.
I miss going. And like a lot of people might hear that and be like, that's crazy, I would never feel that way. But like if it's a big enough part of your lifestyle, you're going to miss out on that like stimulus, whether it's again psychological or physical. If it truly becomes a part of your routine and it's habitual and you've got good discipline, it's a non-starter. Like you're just gonna go back as soon as you get the opportunity to. Whereas others, like Justin and I were just talking about this because we both came back we both had a vacation, and like where people usually go wrong with that is not that they took the time off on the vacation and maybe splurged a little bit on the food that they were eating. It's the fact that when you get back, for a lot of people, it's like, I'll take another few days off before I go back to the gym, and then that can become
getting back and relaxing, and then
so that's where like maybe some of the not damage, but some of the effects can be seen, where it's like much tougher to get back the longer you stay away from it anyways, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, motivation amplifies discipline.
Or should it be discipline amplifies motivation?
It might. I don't know.
We'll see. I'll put up a poll on my Instagram.
Yeah, see what people. I think people
vote.
would probably like the DAM acronym.
Yeah.
But that's a good one, because it's there are two very different things, and you don't need motivation to show up. Maybe sometimes it helps to get you there, but there is a difference between someone who's just like, yay, I'm going to the gym and I'm going to do that, and just being like, well, I'm going to the gym because it's part of my weekly routine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to keep doing that regardless.
Yeah.
And the people who are disciplined see much better outcomes in the long run, I think. So
Yeah, and they get to enjoy it more. Like you said, it becomes a part of their life, and then when they're gone and they're missing, and they're like, oh, I can't wait to get back to the gym. Like I've had so many patients that have started off as people who are like, oh, I'm not a gym person, I don't exercise. And I work with them for a little bit, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm feeling so good, and they see what they can actually do, and all the progress they're making and how good they're feeling really then motivates them to stay more disciplined and continue on with it, even when things are tough. They're like, yeah, I'm going to still get my exercise in because I know how much it helps me, and then that motivates them more.
Mm-hmm. And the other side of consistency is, I guess, the longevity of being able to stay consistent. So like if you can stay consistent for 2 years, what you're saying there, it becomes so much more apparent to people that the longer you're at it, and then you can look back retrospectively to a year ago or 4 years ago of, this is what I was like back then, and this is me now, and I'm still showing up when I'm not feeling great, but like I can do A, B, and C so much better than I could 4 years ago. Here's all the things that I'm better at now. The more time you have under your belt of staying consistent, like the more that can potentially help to build your motivation. Like, I've already made this much progress so far. What other things do I want to get better at? What other things do I want to keep working on? So
just snowballs
compounding.
into more and more parts of your life, right?
Yeah, and like unfortunately, like two weeks. I would even say 4 weeks. Like that is not enough. I would even say like 2 months is
Yeah.
probably not enough to actually turn something like this into like just a true lifestyle or true discipline. Maybe someone could just like fall right into it just like that, but like most of the things that we're talking about, getting stronger, improving function, if you have specific nutrition goals that you're working on, if you're trying to improve your sleep, whatever that might be, those things take like a long time
Yeah.
to see the realistic good results that you're hoping for.
Yeah, like you can see some results in that shorter time frame,
Yeah.
but to achieve those big goals and like really make a very, very tangible difference, it takes a while.
Yeah, like I always really appreciate like posts that I see of people, their transformations, because I think sometimes people, or at least who are trying to sell a product, are like, here's my 30-day transformation. And it's like, lost 40 pounds. And you see this big difference side by side. Maybe it's a completely different person. I don't know. But like, whether that transformation is actually true within those 30 days, number one, that's not going to be sustainable. They probably didn't do it in like a great, like healthy way, I guess. But you shouldn't expect to see these drastic changes in such a short period of time. The true transformations where you're seeing someone lose, 100 pounds over the course of 2-3 years, those I appreciate, because it really puts things into perspective of like how long you actually have to grind slowly to just kind of get some of those or achieve some of those bigger goals. Yeah. Same thing for like lifting heavier weight. Like, walk me through your timeline from I'm starting to lift to deadlifting into the. Are you past 700 yet, or you're in the sixes?
I'm in the sixes.
Yeah. So what's your PR? Like 1RM?
640 is my heaviest deadlift.
Okay, so walk me through like the timeline of hitting certain checkpoints in your deadlift process and how long it took you to get there.
Ooh. Well, the first time I did deadlifts, I was 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I did around like 275 or 295. And I was fried for a week after, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I probably didn't hit 405 until I was 21 maybe. Mm-hmm. I wasn't really like focusing too hard on deadlifts. This is just alongside hockey.
Yeah.
And so how old am I now?
I'm
turning 32 this year.
Yeah.
So I'm 31 at the moment still.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at basically from 10 more years from 405 to 640.
Yeah.
I mean, I've changed up kind of what I've been doing in that time, but it takes a long time and a lot of consistency. Like I went and I did Olympic weightlifting mm-hmm. as my main focus for many years. So I wasn't really deadlifting all that heavy. I don't think I really deadlifted over 450 in that time.
Yeah. And
I was still building up strength in a lot of ways, but I wasn't really focusing on the deadlift. It wasn't until I started CMCC where I was like, okay, I don't have as much time to just focus on Olympic style weightlifting. I'm just going to do more kind of powerlifting style training, and then deadlifted a little bit more. And then honestly, it was one day you were like, hey, let's do like 405 for 10s. And we were just ripping them back, and you got me trying sumo. And after that day, I was like, okay, I want to deadlift over 500 pounds.
Yeah.
And I hit that in my third year at CMCC. So it took like
3.
Yeah. About 3 years. And then it's like a long winding road. It's just consistency, and every time it's like, okay, I'm gonna deadlift more, and it takes a good amount of effort, and you can't be too focused on the number. Like I learned a lot, like, okay, if I'm focused on I'm gonna deadlift 500 pounds and I really just kind of hyper focused on that number, it'd get discouraging, because there's some days where you're not feeling good, and there's sometimes you want to try other things, and if you're so hyper fixated on that one number, it almost makes trying other things less appealing, and like you're not really moving the needle because you feel bad about not focusing as much on your main goal. But having some freedom to just understand, like, this is going to take years and years, and it's not about achieving those certain numbers a lot of the time. It's just about the process and building up the habits and putting in the time and being consistent with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a slow process.
Very slow.
I think every 100 or so pound increase that I put on my deadlift, it like the time it took to get there like doubled or plus.
Yeah.
Like it's so if you're looking at someone and you're like, wow, that person's deadlifting a certain amount of weight that I would like to deadlift, that's probably going to take like years and years to get to.
Mm-hmm.
The person with the washboard 6-pack abs, they either started at a point where they didn't have to, maybe they were already slim throughout their younger years where it's much easier to be slim because you're just out doing things all the time, and they were able to just kind of maintain that. Or you get the person that did have that big transformation, but most of those people didn't do that in 2 months.
No.
That was like 2-3 years potentially to get to that point. So
and then keeping that is
they even
work itself, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Or the person with the big muscles, right? Like that takes so, like, I don't want to sound like, I don't know. I personally think it's harder to put on a tremendous amount of lean muscle mass than it is to lose body fat. Everybody's going to have their different challenges, so one might be harder for another person, but just the time spent to do that, like that's tremendously difficult too.
Yeah.
So
I think from a physiological standpoint, way harder.
yeah,
But mental standpoint,
losing the weight.
you know, for some
super
people
hard.
that might be really tough.
Yeah.
And then for some people that might be really easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like time and resources wise to put on that lean muscle, like that's going to take a lot of time. I always laugh when you see like, oh, this athlete put on, 30 pounds of lean muscle in the off season. It's like, okay, one, no, they didn't. Or two, not
There
natty.
was
Not natty.
something else involved. Yeah.
Yeah.
There were special vitamins.
Yeah, exactly. It was the oopsie supplement.
Yeah.
The supplement with the oopsie in it that a lot of them take, right?
Wow.
So yeah, like just to kind of like loop back around here, most of these big goals that people have in this world of health and fitness, even it could be a pain related goal, like, oh man, I've been dealing with chronic back pain my whole life. It is probably going to take you like a year plus to get to a point where you're like, I've taken control of this. I feel much more confident. I can manage the pain when it's there, or I do feel better now. So like most health and fitness related goals, you need a lot of time to do it, and you're not going to get there without that consistency.
Yeah. The biggest tool is just, changing your expectations and understanding things and focusing on the process rather than the outcome, and just like going along with it.
Yeah. Which I think is pretty difficult for some people, because a lot of times it's the reason why they're doing it is for the outcome. So that's all they've got on their mind. But that can be a problem for a lot of people. It's because then after the 3 weeks of doing this thing and they're noticing that the outcome is even changed or it's gone in the opposite direction, then they just stop. And far too often, if they had to just kept pushing for like maybe 2 or 3 more weeks past that, they would have started to see some small results and could keep building off of it.
Yeah. And on top of that, I think you see a lot of people who do that, stop, come back to it, stop, come back to it, stop. And they think, oh, I've been doing this for a year.
Yeah.
But you haven't been doing it consistently. So,
yeah.
You're making some progress and then you're stopping and you're reverting that progress. And then you're making some progress and you're stopping and reverting that progress.
Yeah.
So it's not that it didn't work for you. It's just that you actually haven't put in enough consistent time to allow it to work.
Mm-hmm. And like I'm dealing with that right now. So I didn't have any barbells or dumbbells out when I was away a week ago, and I'm learning. This week, bench press went absolutely great. Deadlifts always go great. If I take a week off without squatting, dude, I am a hurting unit right now. Like my quads are absolutely on fire because I did some really high volume squats the other day.
Yeah.
And like,
what did you do?
So I've started I've gone back to start the juggernaut method, which is all like the first month of that is all high volume stuff plus a submaximal rep out at the end of everything. So you're putting up very high reps for the numbers,
just
right?
Pumping out that volume.
Yeah, it was a lot. And for whatever reason, my body needs to squat every week to just be feeling good. Could be psychological, but no, this is like very real what I'm feeling. But yeah, even a week sometimes, not to scare anybody away and say if you take 1 week off, you're losing everything, because you're absolutely not. But you can feel the effects even just taking that time off. And if you're consistently, you know, doing that multiple times, maybe like once a month or something, or even more than that, then you're really sore, and then it kind of stops you from being able to get back in for some people. And then, okay, now I'm set myself back a week, so I'll get back into it, but then I take that time off and now I'm set back a week again. Like, that's the consistency of it whenever you can make it work is very important.
Yeah, I think that soreness, kind of what you're touching on there, people are like, oh, I feel awful after, and they take time and they're like waiting until they feel better to get back to it. I think that really just comes from people going too hard, and just, you know, if you just tone it back a little bit, instead of that soreness killing your consistency, now you're not going to be as sore.
Yeah.
Then you can actually build up that momentum, let your body get used to those movements so that you're not so sore anymore, right? Instead of going in and be like, I want to get wrecked and feel awful, and then you feel awful for a week, so you don't go back for actually a week and a half, then just take it easy.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, the first 3 weeks, I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to go with like 50% of what I think I can handle the first week, and like 60% the second week, and 70% the third week. And then after that, you're probably good to go.
Yeah, to be clear, the reason why I'm as sore as I am is because, yes, I let my ego get in the way from my squats after taking that week off. In my rep out, I was just like, I've been doing sets of 10 all this time. And I was like, for this last one, I was like, oh, okay, I'm hitting 20.
Yeah.
And I probably should have stopped at like 14 or 15, but I kept going. So, you know, yeah, like that is something it's an important conversation to have, at least that I have with people that I work with. And that is, especially out of the gate, if you've taken any amount of time off, don't leave your ego at the door. I did not. And actually do what is an appropriate amount of volume or intensity for you when you're starting to get back into a certain thing, because then you're not going to burn out and then get that snowball effect down the line, right? You can be consistent.
I'd say for your situation, it's probably a little different because you have so much experience.
Yes.
You understand you're going to be really sore if you push really hard after some time off, and that's not going to stop you from coming back again. Yeah. Like, maybe you take 1 or 2 extra days off, but it's not going to stop you for a whole week or 2 weeks, right? I'm not gonna take any days off if the program is set, so I'm just gonna deal with it. Yeah.
But no, you're right, because like if you know the expectations, you're like, yes, my muscles are sore, but it's something that I can keep moving through. It's not gonna stop me from coming into the gym. Then it doesn't matter, right? And for me, it was more so just I didn't realize how like not doing any squats whatsoever for a week was gonna affect me. But yeah, for other people, it can be really scary being that sore. It's like, I'm not going to move. I'm not going to do anything. And a lot of times you just move a little bit more and you actually feel a bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, that first movement when you're sore sucks.
Oh, dude, when I get up out of this chair, when this is done, it's going to suck. But, like, I've been coaching all morning, just walking around. I feel great when I do that, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, my quads are on fire, and I actually had to demo a sissy squat this morning, and I was, like, dreading it going into it. I was like, oh, my God, am I going to, like, collapse? And I did it. I did a couple, and I was just like, oh, that actually feels better. Okay, we're good.
Oh, right? That actually feels really nice.
Yeah. So sometimes movement good. All the time movement good, usually.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to consistency, again, like I don't know if there was any other points that you really wanted to touch on, but I think
I can't remember what I've said.
Yeah, fair enough. But I think the big point is just don't overcomplicate things. Don't focus on these little itty bitty details. Don't focus on being perfect. Just focus on doing something.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Whatever it is.
Just to link some parallels, we've been talking about exercises, but for somebody who is thinking more about, let's say, improving their sleep, and they're like, okay, well, I got to get the sleep mask, and I have to get this little sound white noise thing, and I have to make sure that the room is exactly at like 64 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever it is. I don't know my Fahrenheit, so
I have no clue.
Yeah, I'm a Celsius guy. But like focusing on these little things, is that going to help your sleep in the short-term picture? I don't know. It could a little bit, but is it going to make the biggest change in that? If we're not just looking at, and what's funny about this is to potentially help with your sleep, it is probably want to exercise and move a little bit more, probably want to focus in on your eating a little bit more, but then also it's the consistency of it. It takes time to like kind of pick a bedtime, pick a time where you're going to be waking up and try to, even if you're not succeeding at that every night, try to stick with that consistently for a handful of months. Then all of a sudden the sleep might kind of come back. But if I'm spending all of this money and time on these little gadgets that are supposed to help my sleep, and then it doesn't get better,
and you're getting all stressed out, and you're not actually changing the time you're going to sleep, now you're just
now
still
I'm sleeping
sleeping
less.
Yeah, now you're sleeping 5 hours a night, but you have all these gadgets.
Right.
Instead of like, oh yeah, you could just try to set a bedtime at an appropriate time and be like, at least I'm gonna lay in bed for these 9 hours, and you just do that, and then you get longer sleep. You're like trying to hyper optimize all these little things.
Yeah. And like, even if, let's say, you did set your bedtime for like an 8-hour period and you only got 5 hours of sleep because you were just laying there with your eyes open, that's like the equivalent of what we were talking about of like, I don't feel 100% today, so I'm just going to go into the gym and work at 50 or 60%. And as long as I keep doing that over a period of time and keep sticking with it, all of a sudden that 50% can turn into more 70s or 90s, right? And same thing with the sleep, that you could expect potentially for that to happen. But it's funny, like we don't have to go off on this huge tangent on sleep, but like I heard this one fella say, a lot of times when people are struggling to fall asleep, it's because they're like super stressed, and then they're worried that they can't sleep and they have to wake up in a little bit, and they're always just trying to do this stuff. And he was like, but like sometimes one of the best approaches for people like that is just to like give up on sleeping and just say, I'm just gonna lie here.
Yeah.
Because like, think about it, in the middle of the day when you're tired, how great is it sometimes to just like plop down on the couch and just lie there? That's nice,
and
right?
Sometimes you just pass out.
Yeah, exactly. It's just nice to do
you're
that.
You're still resting.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes I'll be like, okay, I'm really tired. I need to take a nap. Even if like just a 20-minute nap. And I lie down and then I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be able to sleep. And I'm like, you know what? I just need to lay in silence. And I just lay in silence for 20 minutes and I feel more rested.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a little bit of meditation. Just kind of, like you said, give up, take the pressure off of it, and just be like, yeah, I'm gonna relax.
Yep.
Imagine relaxing for 8 hours. You probably
right.
feel a little bit better after.
Right?
You're probably gonna fall asleep at some point.
yeah, exactly. Especially if the mind stops racing there. But that's kind of the big point that we're getting at, is if you really do want to try to improve something or fix something, or you have these goals, number one, just show up and do what you can. And number two, try to do that for as long as possible consistently, and all of a sudden the try becomes less of a try and more of it's just part of my lifestyle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's
easy peasy.
So easy. Yeah. That's why we're all waking up super refreshed in the morning.
Yeah, I get 10 hours of sleep every night.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
perfect.
I feel like a new human being every morning. I got my washboard abs, and I'm walking into the gym and deadlifting 900 pounds. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, I saw a guy post his deadlift, just maybe he's not random, but to me he was random. And he just, in the gym, just beat like the world record for deadlifts.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know, like, obviously you got to look at calibration and stuff like that, but this guy just straight up, like, was like, because it was Eddie Hall, and then Hafthor, and then Eddie Hall called out Hafthor and said it was, like, cheating, so then Hafthor did it again, and then this guy just took a video of himself in the gym just beating Hafthor.
That's absolutely insane.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. What was it, like, 1,100... I don't even remember what the record is. It's something ridiculous, but
I don't know pounds.
Yeah, I know you're a kilo guy. Well, what was it before? It was like Eddie Hall's was 500 kilo deadlift.
Yeah, I believe so.
And then I think they were going up at like 501, 502. Yeah. That's a mind blowing amount of weight to me.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Soft knees on Eddie, soft hips on Hafthor though. So.
What do you mean?
There's some people that are like critiquing the lockouts on them, like
oh really?
a lot of, like mostly power lifters.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the knees are soft on Eddie's deadlift, and it's like, oh, the hips are soft on half Thor's.
They don't think you would have got the 3 lights.
Yeah. It's like, man,
come on.
It's a strong man deadlift. There's a lot of it. There's straps, hitching that's allowed. Like,
dude, I don't know if they're wearing like the 3-ply suits or whatnot, but like, yeah, there's a lot of gear that goes involved, and I don't care how much gear in both the gear that they're wearing and the gear
in all like meanings of the term,
and whether or not there was like 1 degree of like lack of lockout and like the hips or the knees, if you are lifting 500 kilograms off the ground, that is insane to
crazy
me. And like that, you see it so much. Like someone's gonna post like a really impressive lift on social media, and then you go to the comment sections and there's like all these critiques like, oh, that was wrong, or like you should have done it this way, or it's like, can't we just appreciate like something that's just impressive? Like, yeah. Speaking to social media, I sent you a handful of videos that we could watch and have a quick discussion about them. So yeah, it's a bit of a mishmash. Yeah, that's the word. Mishmash of different things. You can either say, hey, wow, I love this video, or I hate it, let's talk about it, or anything in between, really.
Okay.
There's a couple of accounts that you know that are on there that you're like, I don't know about these.
Already threw my morning off.
Yeah, I really upset him by a couple of
I almost decided to not come in for the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, if you have never seen a 72-year-old little old lady total over 1,000 pounds raw in powerlifting, buckle up. This is a 385 squat. Light work. All right, here's yours truly. This was last weekend at the 2025 USPA National.
I need to stitch the clip of McGill being like, oh, you don't see people powerlifting, once they're older, like from that one podcast.
Again, raw. Watch this. Amazing.
This lady is insane.
Never gets old.
Those are crazy.
Yeah.
127 pounds, total over 1,000. That's 72?
Yeah.
430 pound deadlift, again at 127 pounds body weight. And I don't think I need to remind you, this is 72 years old. This is a 72-year-old woman. So just watch this. Takes it very seriously. Once it starts, it does not stop. Beautiful execution, clean lockout, 3 white lights as always. 72 years old, 127 pounds body weight, 1030 total, raw. Here's your national champion, Ellen Stein.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's sick.
This is a 72-year-old woman totaling over 1,000 pounds in her squat, bench press, and deadlift.
Yeah.
Like, how old were you when you first joined the 1,000-pound club?
I can't even remember.
I was somewhere in my
20s.
Yeah, in my 20s, and I was so happy and proud of that moment.
Yeah.
And this is a 72-year-old woman that's just absolutely boss moding it. Like, she made those look pretty easy.
Yeah, those are smooth.
Yeah.
Those are really smooth.
Like, so I don't know if you have any comments other than like, wow, that's really impressive. But the reason like I sent you that was kind of going back to what we talked about a couple weeks ago about the age thing.
Yeah. You can get stronger at any age and you can keep lifting forever. And you should keep lifting forever, right?
Yeah, 100%. But like, yeah, if you can keep doing that into your old age, number one, it's not too dangerous. Number two, she's 72. So obviously that's a great example of no age doesn't really matter in terms of what you can do. It's the effort that you put in.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, going back to our conversation today, this lady didn't just pick this up a year ago. She's probably been working on this for years, if not decades, to be able to do that, right? So, like, good on her. I didn't hear her name, but like, good job.
It reminds me, there's this, I wish I had saved these videos. I could have sent them to you. There's this account I saw a couple of months ago, actually, and it's a weightlifting account, and this coach has a bunch of athletes that are like 70 plus, 80 plus, like a lot of older athletes and like people who are picking up weightlifting later in life too. Like it's not like all these athletes have done weightlifting for 20 years. Some of them are starting out more recently.
Yeah, they picked it up after retirement or something.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, yeah.
It's really cool to see. Yeah, you can learn this skill at any time. It's safe. It's good. It's good to move heavier weights. It's good to move fast. Your body can handle it. Your body will adapt to it, and you can make gains for life.
I think anybody who's like retiring and just looking for a hobby,
get absolutely jacked.
Do this. Yeah, if you're bored,
Yeah.
go lift some weights, get strong, and like improve your quality of life and longevity and how you feel, and just be a badass. And like, there you go. There's your hobby. That's really cool to hear.
Be a jacked grandpa or grandma, and you're killing it.
Yeah.
Okay. This next one.
This next one. I actually hope the continuity here is really good. I don't remember.
Okay.
I was totally shocked when Dr. Stu McGill said this to me.
Do you think it's the most fit or the least fit who are hurting their backs the most?
Probably the least fit.
It's the most fit.
Oh, it's the most fit. Okay.
They're the ones who are overtraining. Don't get greedy with strength gains. Maximum strength will not get you through to your golden years with good joints. Sufficient strength will. Muscle will be a little bit faster, but the connective tissues are nowhere near keeping up. Women who are a little older now, it's debatable whether some really have the ability to grow bone. Their challenge is just to maintain what bone they have. If you train for sufficient strength, sufficient cardiovascular resilience, sufficient mobility, not more mobility, sufficient, that will get you through with more intact joints.
Okay, so I thought it was kind of funny that you made a comment about Stu McGill on a podcast. And that was the next one that I had sent you, which is not the same one, but Stu McGill on a podcast.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I mean, he's kind of right on some points, but then takes it too far and fearmongers with it.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I agree with him in the sense that not everybody needs to improve maximal strength in old age. That's fine.
Yeah.
And just sufficiently being strong enough for where you need to be, which is what we talked about a couple weeks ago. He's absolutely right that that's good enough.
Yeah. But it's not, pushing that max strength is also not dangerous.
Right.
I mean, with the point of like, oh yeah, don't get greedy. Don't go all the time. Yeah, awesome. That's teaching some good load management. Like, you can still push max strength. You can go a little bit and then back off a little bit. That's just good programming in general. Yeah. Everyone of every age should be doing that.
Yes.
With any goal, even if you're pushing max strength. But it doesn't mean that, trying for max strength is bad.
Yeah.
And then his other point of, the connective tissues adapt slower than muscle. Yeah. But they still adapt. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be training them.
Yeah, and if it's graded exposure or progressive overload or whatever word you want to use for just slowly and like appropriately loading your body, then everything's going to adapt. Okay,
do whatever you need to.
Yeah,
and like stressing them to get those adaptations is good. Yeah. If you avoid the stress on them, then they're going to detrain and be able to handle less.
Yeah, it's fun. He makes me laugh because he's a smart guy and obviously. And he says some really good things, but like you said, there's just like the little bit of that fear mongering in there to say like, absolutely nobody should do this, and health and fitness should never be
so close.
Yeah, it should never be black and white like that. Because we just watched a video of a 72-year-old woman training for maximal strength, crushing it.
Yeah.
So
moving really well.
Yeah.
Doing things awesome, enjoying what she does too. It's like you said, she's probably been doing that for decades, and that's her sport that brings her joy too. Yeah. So for someone to say, oh, that's dangerous and stop doing it also is now maybe taking away some psychological enjoyment for that person. Maybe that's their social circle as well. So now it's like you take a lot away from people by fear mongering. Yeah. And it's not just physical, which is a lot of that collateral damage that I don't think is realized from fear mongering. But yeah, I'm mad now.
He's going home.
Yeah, I'm done. See you later. Yeah, but kind of the point I was making, like, the connective tissues adapt a little bit slower, but it doesn't mean that they don't adapt. And just because they adapt slower doesn't mean that's like, oh, you need to wait for them to maybe fully heal. They probably don't need to be as fast adapting, and they can still handle a lot, even if they haven't fully recovered yet.
Yeah.
Connective tissues are very robust.
Yes.
Which is just a point that's totally glossed over when it's like, maybe it recovers a little bit slower, but it still recovers, and maybe you don't need it fully recovered before you do another bout.
Yeah, well, I mean, I always find it funny that the people that talk about this stuff and kind of give off this fragility narrative on tissues in the body are the same people that probably took a program where they were doing dissections in anatomy like we had to. And so you are literally, working on a cadaver of potentially a 90-year-old that has fragile and maybe weaker tissues. And like, how often were you finding yourself like just really just getting in and not being able to get through a ligament or something?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like, it is unbelievable how strong these tissues are and how much they hold up.
And that's what's like cutting it with
A
sharp
scalpel.
scalpel.
Yes.
That's made to do that, not
Yeah.
just putting stress through it.
So
like,
yeah, it always surprises me when people who have gone through that still maybe like go back to this, okay, well, that's, your ligament's going to be super weak, or we can just like put some pressure on it. And it's like, no, these things are super stiff, and that's crazy.
they are robust.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. What's next?
The reason you haven't lost the 10 pounds isn't because your hormones are broken or your metabolism stinks. It's because you're not in a calorie deficit. You have no idea how much food you're actually eating, but refuse to track your macros because you're afraid it's restrictive. You change your plan every time you don't see results in 2 weeks. You think cardio, light weights, high reps, and Pilates are going to build the body you want, but haven't touched a progressive strength training program in your entire life. You're afraid of carbs, scared of the food scale, but still somehow blame your metabolism for your lack of progress. You want fat loss, but you're not even walking 5,000 steps a day. You say you're doing everything right, but you haven't been consistent for more than 10 days. You expect your body to change without ever changing your habits.
Who said that?
See, I just thought that was like right on topic with what we were
I
wanted
was
to talk
just
about
gonna say,
today.
that's basically everything we talked about. That's
Yeah.
perfect. Like, hit the nail on the head on all of those, right? It's like, be consistent, stop demonizing these little things. Like she was pointing out, like, oh, you're afraid of carbs and afraid of the food scale. And it's like, it's just the calorie deficit, like she said.
Yeah.
You should be eating a well-balanced diet, and that involves all the macros, barring other health reasons why you wouldn't be able to or wouldn't have as good health outcomes. So that'll fuel you, and then you just track your calories and eat in a deficit and be consistent with it for a long time, not just 10 days, right?
Yes.
Being consistent with it for months and
Yes.
months, and taking through that progress, falling in love with that process so that you can stick with it, and over time you'll see the difference.
Yeah. I just thought that was a great little like thing of just like, this is what we're going to be talking about today. Simplify it. Don't focus on the details, and actually give yourself some time to work through the process and hopefully see those results after a longer period of time. That's it. Yeah.
Should I do a reel in that format where I'm just yelling
Yeah, you
in
could.
my head
Yeah.
on my bike,
Yeah.
trying not to crash into a walking pedestrian?
I don't know which is this the list one?
It has the Bulgarian split squats. Best way to make sure your day can't get any worse. I believe running is a close second.
Bulgarian split squats.
I mean, as funny as that is,
I love them.
yeah. I
But
think it
I'm
makes
weird.
people afraid of certain things, though, right? And it's like, and like the running is a close second. Yeah, it's jokes, ha ha ha. But it also, goes down this road of now people are just ignoring it. So
Yeah.
do the hard things
Yeah.
and fall in love with them is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, well, because you do really enjoy Bulgarian split squats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're one of my favorite exercises ever.
Yeah.
You don't just get to that point. You start off doing them and be like, oh my God, I hate these. And you do them for long enough and you
And then
get
you
better
make
at them.
gains.
You be consistent. You show up. You do it for a long period of time.
Day after day, week after week,
Yeah.
month after month.
Yeah, and then you're all of a sudden like, hey, I'm good at these. And like, I love them. And that's it. That's the process. That's
It's like, I like doing Zercher split squats over Bulgarian split squats. Either back, leg up, or down.
Yeah.
Down is easier because it's less equipment. But it's the same thing. It's like, just holding the bar in your arms is tough. And that throws a lot of people off, similar to Bulgarian split squats. It's like, oh, this exercise just kind of like hurts in general at the start, but being consistent with it and getting better and better, and it's like, oh, now it doesn't hurt as much, and I'm making gains, and I actually love it, and it's like, oh, I want to go and do this.
yeah.
So I just had to throw in that I do something Zercher there.
Yeah. I think I got to get going shortly, but
Yeah.
maybe we can look at
We'll rip through
one more.
one more.
Yeah.
What do you want? List,
The list might take too long. We'll have to say that for another time. There's
Squat
some,
University, Or,
you know what? I know you like that guy.
I don't know if I want to do that one.
Okay.
I might get our podcast canceled.
Was there anything else other than those?
Well, there's this 1 week off the gym because you're ill and you realize you lost 60 years of progress. It can feel like that sometimes as you're experiencing, but yeah, you know, it's just that your body getting back, feeling a little off, and coordination mostly, but you don't have to worry about like losing that progress just because you have a week off.
Yeah. It takes much longer than that.
It takes much longer.
Even though in classes and physiology classes or whatever that like in our undergrad they talk about how within 48 hours of not doing something you're going to start to lose any progress, and it's like, yeah, sure, you can lose some progress in a short period of time, but you're not restarting from scratch after a week.
That's
or
also
two.
With like either at the cell level or complete immobilization.
Right. Exactly. So, you know, don't just stay away because you took a little bit of time off. Get back into it. Don't worry about rushing into the intensity and the volume too quick, but just get back to it. Get back to it as soon as you can, and you're going to be okay. And honestly, it gets easier every time. You take those little breaks and you come back because you're used to it and you know what to expect. Yeah,
and you have that process worked out and you don't have that same kind of uncertainty and anxiety going into it.
Yeah.
Possibly where you're like, oh, I'm probably going to be weaker. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm going to be weaker for this first week, so I just take it a little bit easy, and then you know, hey, in 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to be right where I was before.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of funny how, like, I was trying to pick, there's a couple of dumb ones in there, but, like, I was trying to pick reels that were a little bit more, like, into the conversation that we had today, so we got to talk about those even before we looked at them.
Yeah.
We'll save the squat U one for another day.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
That might be his whole own episode.
Well, yeah, we'll get into why maybe Kevin isn't the biggest fan with Mr. from Squat U, and I've had my fair share of debates with him, so we'll save that for another day.
It'll be a fun time.
Yeah. Anyways, hopefully you got a couple of things out of today's discussion, and maybe you find a little motivation, or maybe you're going to work on your discipline. Maybe you're going to use your motivation to amplify your discipline.
Yeah. Use your discipline to amplify your motivation.
Yeah, exactly.
You're either going to say damn or go mad.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully you got a little bit out of today's conversation. If you liked what you listened to, definitely like and follow and subscribe, the usual. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.